going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I wanted to give you guys a little apartment tour where I've currently been living in Dubai for the last 6 months. And I also want to just give you guys some honest feedback on my current review of being in Dubai. So I moved here at the end of last year, so October time. Spent my first 3 months here living in Airbnbs, and then I moved into this apartment in January, in which where I've been living for this last 6 months. So I'm gonna give you guys a little rundown. So we've got a kitchen to start off with, so pretty basic. Bought a few of the appliances in here. Obviously my air fryer, which gets used every single day. Basic stuff as well, fridge, freezer, microwave. Pretty small kitchen, but to be honest, it's just me in here at the moment, so I don't need anything kind of too much more than that. Then we've got moving on to the living space in the living room. So 2 little stools which haven't been used once at the moment, only to film content with Jade, he's behind the camera at the moment. Then we've also got my alcohol collection, which I can confirm since I've moved in here, hasn't been drank once as well. Been teetotal for a little while now. And then we've got the living space, which I don't spend a huge amount of my time in at the moment. So I bought this sofa recently, which nice little L sofa, which I like to lie on in the evening time. But nothing really too much more than that. Most of my work gets done in the office, which you're gonna see very, very shortly. Nice big TV as well, which I managed to inherit off the landlord. Now I bought a lot of the furniture in this place at the start of the year, just paid a one-off fee. My landlord kind of just let me take it. TV, sofa, which is now outside, and a few other things as well. As you can see, leads nicely onto the balcony as well, which I'm gonna show you guys in a minute. Then we're gonna take you into the office. So this is where everything goes down for me. That was one requirement that I really wanted when I moved to Dubai. I wanted to make sure that I was in a place where I was productive, had my own office, had my own space. I find that this really helps me from a productivity standpoint. When I lived in the UK for a while, I had my own office in the garden, which again was massive for me. So I wanted to replicate that being in Dubai. So as you can see, we've got my big monitor, which I use. Laptop's not there at the moment, but this is where I do all my work. This is a stand-up desk and a sit-down desk, so we can change the height on this really easily. Depending on what kind of work I'm doing, I'll adjust the height. And then we've got my whiteboard, which at the moment is very blank. However, I do use this just for like daily planning, stuff that's in my mind at the moment. And then also we've got some of these pictures as well. So we've got a nice picture of a Lamborghini up there. And then we've got some of the lions that I actually ordered these. I can't remember where it's from, but they took like 3 or 4 weeks to come. I wasn't sure what I wanted to put on this part of the wall. But I wanted something really cool, wanted something that kind of like represented me a little bit. So we've gone with lions in tuxedos smoking cigars to really try and kind of, you know, build that ultimate status and that ultimate authority. So this is where I get the work done. You can obviously see here as well, this is where I have my little medal collection, which is actually pretty bare at the moment. So we've got 2 half marathons, which I did at the start of the year. Looking to add to this, would have hopefully liked to have added the full marathon to this year, but obviously with the injury that I've currently got, which some of you guys know about, it's probably not looking very likely. We've got my TMP hat, so shout out to TMB guys. And then also we've got my t-shirt as well from the half marathon I did. So hopefully we can start adding to this, but I find it nice to kind of, you know, celebrate some of the successes and the wins that I've had and just have this little collection, which, as I say, hopefully we add into over time anyway. So that is my office. That would then move us on nicely into, I suppose, the guest bathroom, which is, I do use, but to be honest, it's not one I use that much. See, again, it's just me here, so I don't really need 2 bathrooms, but hey. And then we've got our storage room. So I think this is called a maid's room in Dubai, but again, I don't really use this so much more other than just storage. Actually got another TV in there, which I inherited off the landlord, which I haven't used once. I don't like having a TV in my room because I just don't like to watch TV in bed. And then also another bed in there as well, a mattress, which does sometimes get used. I had my brother staying with me a few months ago, so we used that then. But again, to be honest, I don't need the extra mattress. When I first moved in here, that was a completely different room. It had a full bed in there, and from the previous people that were staying in here, I think it was a mum and a daughter. But I said to my landlord just to get rid of that bed. He actually snapped it, got rid of it, and moved it into an office. So we've just kept the mattress because this is, as I say, if I have guests around and people that come and see me, it's nice for them to be able to have something to stay on. So apart from that, we've pretty much just got suitcases, mattresses, boxes, all that kind of stuff. Onto the bedroom. So this is the bedroom I've currently got at the moment. Not really that much going on here apart from bed. I don't really do much other than sleeping in here. As I say, I don't have a TV in here. There was a TV literally there, but we've decided to get rid of that. It actually didn't really fit into this space very well, so I decided to scrap it overall. We've got my nice little aftershave collection here as well. So 4 different aftershaves that I'm using at the moment. So I like to kind of mix between 2, I suppose, like premium, like good quality aftershaves, and then 2 like everyday ones. So basically we use 2 Zara's, which actually like, are really good value for money. They smell very nice, and these are just the ones I kind of put on every single day. And then we've got my 2 OGs. We got Pentaligon, Halfeti, which if you know, you know, very, very, very good aftershave. You pay for it, but it's very good quality. And then we've got Tom Ford's Black Orchid, which again is very, very good aftershave, again, a little bit more expensive. So that's kind of how I like to go about my, my aftershave collection. A few other little bits there as well. We've got the Bi Oil, which I'm putting on my scar every single day at the moment. So we're trying to get rid of the scar, obviously, from my pec operation. So this has been working quite nicely. And then we've got a few other bits as well. As you can see, vlogging camera, which is gonna start to be getting used quite a lot as well as we start to expand the YouTube channel a little bit more. Then of course, again, we've got another bathroom. This is the one I use a little bit more of. It's got a shower in there, just a few more bits kind of going on. Right, onto the balcony, which for me is actually probably the largest part of this apartment. So I'm gonna take you guys outside and show you what I've got outside. Onto the outside, so this is probably the biggest balcony that you've ever seen. Actually way too big, I don't even use half of this balcony, but I'm not gonna complain. So we're starting off with just kind of the outdoor furniture. So we've got tables, we've got chairs. Again, I don't sit out here that much, especially at the moment, because it's very, very hot in Dubai right now. We're looking at like kind of 40 degrees some days, which is obviously a little bit too hot. But in the winter, I'll sit out here, get some work done, or just generally eat my food out here. Not too much of a bad view. We've got better views in Dubai, but this is pretty good to be fair. Obviously there is a little bit of building work going on over there. This is a little bit annoying, but it's not too bad because you can hear as well. We've got someone doing some construction at the moment too. And then we just move on to this bit. As you can see, this balcony is massive. This is just all space that I'm not really using that well at the moment. I could probably put like a hot tub out here. I could probably put a gym out here. I could pretty much do a lot of things, but to be honest, it's just not really something that I've got around to doing yet. Then we've got the old sofa that I was using before. So I used to have this sofa inside. However, this is kind of a little bit more of a day bed. It's not really acting as a sofa, so I decided to buy a new sofa, which is obviously the one that's in there at the moment. And then I just put this one outside and got a little cover for it, which, to be fair, it's actually been holding up pretty well. Obviously, living in the desert, you do get a lot of kind of dust and sand that flies around. I have to get this cleaned once per week, but to be fair, it's going pretty well at the moment. So this is roughly what the day bed looks like. As you can see, it's not too bad. I like to sometimes read out here in the mornings, so probably the only time of day right now where you can actually spend a portion of your time outside be in the morning. And I like to come out here around maybe like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, just read my book. Really nice way to start the day. It's very quiet outside. And then moving on to this bit. So as you can see, we've still got a huge part of the balcony around here, which honestly never really gets used. So 2 sun lounges, which again, got off the landlord. Used them a couple of times, but not a huge amount. And as you can see, just loads of space, loads of free space, which I've not really decided what I'm gonna do yet. Obviously, we've got some just construction stuff going on out there. And then we've got the marina over that way, which you can see some of the big buildings over there. But you get some pretty good views at night here. It's quiet. And yeah, that's pretty much my crib in Dubai. So guys, that is the apartment. That's where I'm currently living at the moment. The only thing I've not showed you is the gym, which is downstairs, and also the pool. Now, these aren't that great in this apartment block, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably like the biggest downside of living here. However, it's not too bad. I'm probably gonna look to maybe move to a different apartment at the end of the year, just for those sole reasons, as even though I'm not really using the gym in the apartment that much, when it's this hot in Dubai, sometimes you don't even wanna like get in a car and drive to the gym. So that's potentially what I'm looking to do anyway. But the actual apartment and the interior, very, very happy with. I'm happy that I moved here, and it's a very, very productive environment. So I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a rundown or a review of my current feedback of living in Dubai for this last 9 months, and just talk you guys through the things I like and the things that I don't really like as well about Dubai, even though there's not really that many. So I've been living here now since the end of October. This apartment, I've been living here for 6 months, okay? So I originally moved to Dubai. I kind of just felt like I hit a bit of a brick wall in the UK. I went through a few things in my personal life, broke up with my ex-girlfriend, moved back to live with my mum again, and then decided I just needed something next, okay? I just felt like I really wanted to test myself, push myself out of my comfort zone, and just really move on to that next level. And having moved to Dubai, or been to Dubai a couple of times, seen people that had done the same thing as me, I actually came out here for a couple of mentorships with other online coaches, and at that time, every time we came to these mentorships, there was like people moving out here, and I kind of just thought to myself, it's gonna be me at some point. Anyway, decided to do that in the end. I used a company called VirtuZone who set me up out here. They got me my trading license out here. They did my medical. They just got me a visa. They just made it a very smooth and seamless process. Now, that's not the cheapest way of getting set up out here. I think that did cost me kind of like about 4 to 5 grand. And that's in sterling as well, just to get myself set up here and have a year's worth of trading. But it is worth doing if you just want it to be a simple and easy process to get them all sorted. So the first time I moved out here was just Airbnbs. So I actually lived on the marina for a month, and then I moved to JVC, but a different apartment, which is where I'm in now, JVC. But I moved there for like 3 weeks. Then I came back to the UK at Christmas, and then obviously I've moved back here again now in my new apartment. terms of where to live in Dubai, there's quite a few places that you can live. Now, I live in a place called JVC, like I said, Jumeirah Village Circle, which is actually where a lot of expats live. There's a lot of English and Irish people that live in this area. But you can also live in places like the Marina, you can live in JLT, you can live in downtown, you can live in Arabian Ranches, Dubai Hills, Creek Harbour. There's a lot of people that are kind of dotted around. Where I am is quite a central location, so I can get to Marina in sort of 50 minutes. I can get to downtown in about 20 minutes, which is where the Burj Khalifa is. And now I've got a car out here. It makes a big difference, obviously, for me to be able to travel around a little bit. You kind of have to decide what you want more in Dubai. Either you want to live in a really sort of prime location that you'll be paying a lot of money for. So if you were to live in like the Marina, it's going to cost you a lot more, or you get a lot better value for money living where I live right now. So I pay about £1,700 a month sterling for this apartment, which I know is not cheap, but it's actually not too bad compared to what sort of prices you would pay on, say, the Marina, which would be probably double that for this kind of apartment, and the same with downtown as well if I was to live near the Burj Khalifa. So there are expensive places to live in Dubai, there's cheaper places to live in Dubai, and there's kind of like in the middle as well. So it kind of depends on exactly what your budget is. In terms of driving out here, it's been pretty easy to get my license, although I had to drive or go over to Fujairah, which is another emirate in Dubai, to go and get that sorted. But the transition to get a UAE license is very easy if you've got an English license. So they just literally swap it for you. And then I've bought a car out here now as well. So I started off with a rental car, which is what a lot of people do, but actually that's very expensive. I was driving a Mazda 5 out here and I was paying about £600 a month for that, about 2,500 AED, which is pretty expensive really. But then recently I decided to buy an Audi, so I've got a Q5, which wasn't too expensive, and now that's what I'm driving out here as well, which, as I say, just makes things a lot easier in terms of actually being able to get around and see people. Now, in terms of the cost of living compared to the UK, this is what people often want to know a little bit more about. So I would say that Dubai is more expensive than the UK, of course. However, there are certain things in Dubai that are a lot cheaper. Obviously, we have the tax benefits, which I'm going to run you guys through a little bit later, but I wouldn't say it's quite as bad as what people might think. Now, food is more expensive in Dubai, like supermarket food is expensive. I literally bought a bottle of squash the other day from the supermarket and it cost me like £6 AED, £6 sterling, which is obviously is not cheap. However, there are other places you can shop that are a little bit cheaper. If you want expensive but very quick and easy food, you can order food and it'll be here literally within 10 minutes, but you pay for that. Obviously, if you go and buy food yourself and you know where to shop, you can get it a little bit cheaper. So food is more expensive, but it's not quite as bad as what sometimes people think. Bills in general are a little bit more expensive. So like my heating bill, not heating bill, my air conditioning bill and my gas bill, that comes in quite a lot. I think I paid about £170 or something for that this month, which probably because it's the summer, it's going to be a bit more expensive. Obviously, air conditioning costs and internet is more expensive out here as well. So my internet bill came in at about £120, £130 per month. So quite a lot just for internet. In the UK, you're probably looking at what, like half of that really. However, petrol is very cheap out here. So you're literally looking at about £30 less than that to fill up my car, which isn't really that much. So you're looking at probably like half the price of the UK. Obviously, we don't pay things like road tax as well, council tax, things like that, a little bit cheaper. So all in all, when you actually weigh it up, it's not too much worse or not too bad. You definitely need to be in a good financial position to move to Dubai. However, the costing can kind of be made a little bit more manageable for sure. So moving on to the things that I love about Dubai. So the first thing is definitely going to be the weather. Now, most of the time the weather in here is really, really nice. It's only going to be select parts of the year like now where it's just too hot and you can't really do much. So July, August, a little bit of June as well. That's just where it's just like 40 degrees plus, where really we don't really want to be outside. So most of the time weather's very good. However, sometimes obviously we don't want to be outside and it's just a little bit more of an inside environment. But for me, I don't mind that, as I can be very productive if obviously there's not much going on, there's obviously less distractions. I also love the social side of things in Dubai. So food, going out to some really nice restaurants, bars, all these kind of things. All that in Dubai is really nice. The service is very good. I'm yet to have one bad meal in Dubai at the moment. It's all very, very good quality. So if you want to go and do that, you can enjoy those things. And again, there's like kind of different levels that you can go out for a really expensive meal like I did recently to a place in the Marina, or you can just have cheaper meals, which are still nice, but you just don't quite pay as much. So there's kind of levels to that as well. I also love just being in a very powerful environment in Dubai. So I find that it just gives me this like real drive because you're around very successful people. There's some, huge entrepreneurs out here. And for me, like I like to be around in the mix of these people, okay? Your environment really does dictate performance. So me being out here was very much a move in terms of actually putting myself in a very productive environment and being around that success. Obviously I'd be lying if I said that the tax benefits weren't one of the things that I liked about Dubai as well. Now, you don't not pay tax completely out here. They're actually bringing tax in now at a very small cost, which I'm still seeing as to whether my business is eligible towards that anyway. But it is considerably cheaper than the UK. Now, it kind of depends on what scale that you run your business at, because even just a licensing fee out here to actually keep my business out here for a year, it's quite expensive. So like for me to just have a trade license for a year, it cost me about £4,500, which is quite a lot. Obviously, depending on what scale you operate at, that could be close to what your tax bill is sometimes if you're swinging it whichever way. But it's still cheaper. If you're operating at quite a high scale, you've got quite high turnover in your business, profit's quite high, it is more tax advantageous to actually be out here in Dubai. Obviously, you don't pay like VAT, corporate tax, personal tax, which, as I say, they are looking to kind of slightly bring in, but I'm definitely better off here. The last thing I really like about Dubai is the time difference. So we're 3 hours in front at the moment than the UK. Sometimes we're 4 hours in front, depending on what time of year it is in the UK. For me, I absolutely love that because my most productive time of day is in the morning. So I get out of bed, I'm in a very good routine at the moment, and I just get to work. Now, right now, obviously, clients will be asleep when I get up in the morning. I'm not gonna get, I don't wanna say disturbed, because obviously when my clients message me, I absolutely love that. Like, I wanna be helping them, of course. However, it just means I can get a little bit more deep work done. So some of the people within my business as well, again, they're gonna be asleep. So I'm not communicating with people that early, so I can just get to work and get things done. And I can also then make sure that I get clients check-ins back nice and early as well. So clients love waking up knowing they've already got their check-in. For me, just having that little bit of time in front is perfect. And it means when I do move back to the UK just for a few weeks, I'm not then spending a long time to adjust because the time difference is, it's not too far away. So moving on to some of the things I don't like about Dubai. There's not really that much. The list is not going to be that long. I'd say the weather in the summer is something I really don't like. Obviously, I've only been here really for just a few weeks, but I'm already seeing that it is more difficult to operate in this. Now, as I said, if you are very much living an indoor lifestyle and you're just, maybe just getting your head down with work, obviously we've got the malls as well, which you can do a lot with. Like, it's very much kind of set up towards a hot environment to Dubai. It's not like you have to be outside if you don't want to. However, anytime you do step outside in this heat, it is difficult. I mean, even just for me to go to the gym now, it completely zaps me, okay? So like literally, like I'll get in my car, which is obviously air conditioned. I'll then get to the mall, which is air conditioned, but just the transitioning of just literally walking to my car, waiting for the air conditioner to kick in, getting out, walking from the parking lot, like it just zaps you the energy. Like you only know what I'm talking about if you've really been in that deep heat before and you know exactly what it's like. But it's not the end of the world. And as I said, I almost use these like Dubai summer times where there's less distractions to get my head down with work and really operate hard, so that then I can sort of have a little bit more downtime, potentially when I'm traveling. The other thing I'm not a massive fan of when it comes to Dubai is the traffic and the driving. So driving out here is obviously the other side of the road to what it was in the UK, which isn't really too bad. You get used to that very, very quickly. It's not as bad as what I thought it would be, but people are maniacs on the road out here. We've got like so many different lanes, people that are just driving all over the shop, and you just gotta be very careful. You've got to be very self-aware when you're driving, okay? If you take your foot off the gas, literally, you could potentially fall into a few problems, which I haven't done yet, touch wood, but I would say that it is more of a challenge out here. And I know a lot of people that won't even get licenses out here because they're scared of being in Dubai. A couple of things I'm not a massive fan of in Dubai is just the fact that it's very much this kind of like artificial environment. It's very much man-made, so we don't really get much like nature and hills and birds chirping and stuff like that, which to be honest, like it sounds like a really small thing, but it's just the finer things in life sometimes I absolutely love. Like when I go back to the UK, going for a nice hill walk with my mum, walking the dog, going to a really nice hill, like for me I absolutely love that, and I wish sometimes there was a little bit more of that in Dubai instead of just sort of being in the hot desert all the time. And then also just actually not being around close family and friends. Sometimes I'm very much a loner, like I like being on my own, I'm productive, I get stuff done, I don't need to be around people all the time. However, sometimes it kind of would be nice to have the option to go and see my family, go and see my nan at the weekend, which obviously I don't really get out here. In terms of the gym and the fitness scene in Dubai, that's very good. Obviously, as you probably know, we get a lot of coaches that come out here, a lot of influencers that live here as well. So you're very much in the mix of the fitness industry out here in Dubai. The gyms are very good. We've got outdoor gyms, obviously lots of very well equipped indoor gyms as well. So being an online coach and it being my profession, it being my livelihood, it is very nice to be out here. Obviously running is very difficult when we're in the absolute peak summer. I haven't ran since I've come back. Mainly that's because of my injury, but even when it wasn't so hot, I did 2 half marathons in Dubai at the start of the year. It's very hot. The heat, it's very muggy. It's very difficult to be able to, really perform as high when you're in that heat. But again, it does actually, turn you into potentially being a little bit fitter as well from your body adjusting to that real deep heat of Dubai. But in overall, the fitness scene out here is fantastic, and I'm definitely going to be sharing with you guys just more fitness style content of the gyms out here, my training, what I like to get up to. So how long do I plan on staying out here in Dubai? I'm unsure yet. First of all, I was potentially just looking at kind of out here for a few years. Now I'm maybe thinking about being out here for 5 years. Could it be then 10 years? I don't know at the moment is the honest answer. I do really like it here, and at the moment there's not really that much that's like pulling me back to the UK. I'm very fortunate that I'm in a position as to where if I want to go back to the UK, I can do that very easily with my job, very flexible. I'm not set here to having to be here. I've not got a job here, a salary here. Like, I can move back to the UK pretty simply. And overall, guys, that is my current review of Dubai. As you can see, it's not literally just about flashy cars, nice watches, lavish lifestyle. Yes, there is out here, and there's a lot of that. But if you want to keep yourself to yourself, be around like-minded people, be in a productive environment, then I would recommend Dubai to anyone. So I hope you found this video useful. I'm going to be sharing a lot more insights in Dubai over the next few videos. Make sure you're liking this video and make sure you subscribe for future episodes.